Good morning. It is currently 7:09 a.m. on Thursday, July 30th, 2015. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. I usually take my hair tie out when I'm in bed, but I had left it in kind of in a ponytail before lying down, and so I just I don't know. I decided to just leave it like this for the video today just because I thought it looked kind of vaguely like I was in an 80s music video or something. So I finished Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker last night, finally. According to my save game, I put 68 hours into it, which is way longer than I expected it to take. That game has a lot of side activities that don't directly progress the story but are helping you to level up um, in order to be more powerful for some of the story missions. And a bit like an RPG, you have to grind those a little bit in order to be strong enough to really pass the story missions. But I also played more of them than probably was minimally necessary. I certainly didn't finish all of those. There's a bunch more stuff that you could do. It kind of like in the Final Fantasy games, sometimes you can play through the main story, but then they'll have just these extra super hard bosses. And that's kind of what the stuff that I've decided not to do in Peace Walker are like. It's a little frustrating though, just because I've been working so hard to beat the game and playing it a lot, and I'm just kind of in that mode. So the idea of leaving parts of it unfinished actually bugs me a little bit, but at the same time, I had to make the higher level thinking decision that I have finished the story, which is really the primary appeal to me. And so the idea of spending a lot more time working on the part of the game that I don't like as much, meaning trying over and over again to beat really difficult bosses, no. So I'm not going to do that. But I did finish the story, and including getting the true ending. Um, the true ending, though, is I was honestly a little bit let down. I mean, in terms of how to explain this to someone who hasn't played any of the Metal Gear Solid games. The Metal Gear Solid games have such weird stories. They are simultaneously really thoughtful and deep and challenging, and then also really silly and weird in spots. Um, and so there's 5 chapters in this game's story, and when you beat chapter 4 is when you're really rounding out the main story arc of everything you'd been playing up to that point. And then all of chapter 5 is this sort of weird epilogue where some of the side characters that were along the way get a little bit more involved, and then there's a sudden reveal of a character as an enemy that you had thought they were a friend all along. And then you have a pretty cool, epic final boss fight that is exciting in terms of the action that's taking place, but the storytelling of it I thought was not as impressive as the arc that was presented in chapters 1 through 4. So I feel like even though it's so supposedly like the true ending, it really felt a little bit more like a tacked on bit after finishing the real story. That said, because the Metal Gear Solid saga is this broad, epic thing, including like multiple protagonist characters, the epilogue does tie more into that. So like chapters 1 through 4 are more about telling that story, and then 5 ties it more into the rest of the saga. So that works. I'm excited to have finished it, and in fact, actually, because I love the stories, I really do. And now it makes me want to replay all of Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, 4 again. And maybe, hey, I'll look up the YouTube videos of the original Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 games, just so I can see the story parts of those ones too. I suppose I could try to actually play them, but I don't know. I'm hesitant on those. The gameplay of those is dramatically different. Wow, I'm already at 6 minutes. The Metal Gear Solid games are awesome and amazing, and the story is just unlike anything else I can think of. And so it makes me want to replay stuff even when I have lots of other games to play. So now that I've finished Peace Walker, I'm going to switch to Ground Zeroes, which I have for free on PlayStation Plus for the PS4. And then it's a little more time before Metal Gear Solid 5 comes out. But, you know, I've got other games to play too. In any case, Peace Walker took a lot longer than I originally would have wanted it to or would have preferred it to. And as I think I said before, I would rather, I think, play Metal Gear Solid games on a big screen than on the Vita. But I liked it a lot. It was definitely, I'm glad that I put the time in. It was a worthy addition to the chapter. I'm glad I didn't skip it just because it was on the Vita. PSP originally, but I put it on the Vita. In any case, I gotta go to work, so talk to you guys tomorrow for 5 more minutes.